Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Alice and I enjoy doing reviews. Typically all kinds of different reviews for all different sorts of things. But today I was gonna make just kind of a little shorter movie review for you guys because this movie has just come out and I had just seen it like a week ago and wanted to kind of give you my thoughts on it. And the movie in question is Disclosure Day.
Disclosure Day threatens letting the truth loose on the world.
What did you steal?
The data they paid me to protect.
There has been a threat to release government material long shrouded in secrecy.
Are they people?
No.
I really like the idea of extraterrestrials visiting the planet. I do believe that some have come here, and I have my reasons for believing this, but we won't get into that right now. Before we begin though, I am just gonna state there might be some spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, just stop right here, go watch the movie, and then if you want to, come back and you can hear what I have to say about it. So I guess to start off, the movie itself was good. It was a good movie. It was, there were a lot of special effects. The story hung together mostly. And Steven Spielberg, he's a great director. So I felt like the movie itself did fine. So the trailers and the general premise of the movie being like disclosure of something that might possibly be related to aliens, might be like in some sense real, it kind of fell short. Like in a lot of ways. Like I said, I felt like the movie, if you had gone in not knowing that it was like about aliens and just kind of watched it for what it was, I felt like it was a decent movie. However, I also feel like kind of campaigning on like, oh, we're gonna reveal some things to you guys and this is gonna sort of be groundbreaking for what it is. I felt like that didn't quite live up to expectations. The main premise of the movie, like what it actually could have been titled, is the government is hiding things. The whole movie was basically about that. It was about the government hiding alien technology as well as like footage of aliens, footage of UFOs, things of that nature. And the main character, Daniel Keller, I think Keller or Kellner, attempting to bring to light everything that this government, or maybe it wasn't the government, maybe it was like some kind of like shadow government or some organization, just basically bringing to light what they have hidden. The movie is also about Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, who for some inexplicable reason, at least at first it's not really explained, develops like extreme psychic powers and awareness, to the point where she can actually manipulate people around her. And like I said, at first there's really no explanation for it. She encounters this cardinal that flies in through her window, and in the next moment she has complete psychic powers and awareness and is able to sort of speak the language of the aliens.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's
it's a very action-packed movie. It's a very fast-paced movie, but again, it's a movie about Daniel Kellner and Margaret Fairchild attempting to escape the government while at the same time trying to reveal to the general public what has been going on. To be honest with you, I saw a movie, The Fourth Kind, and despite what you may think about that movie in terms of like realness, whether that footage we see in the movie is real or not, I felt like that was way more disclosure than actual Disclosure Day. For me, that movie left a way bigger impact on like how I viewed aliens and sort of what was going on in this tiny little Alaskan town, as opposed to, a story about a psychic woman and a guy who's really good at math kind of figuring out where they got these powers from and, you know, what they want to reveal to the rest of the world. The majority of the story in Disclosure Day is simply about them trying to escape this shadow government organization. It's not really about disclosure at all. And in fact, we don't really learn very much about the aliens or anything, honestly, pertaining to them until the very, very, very end of the movie, kind of thrown in as an afterthought. Whereas with the fourth kind, we see right away with the footage, like kind of what is going on and how the main character is attempting to figure out why these people are not sleeping at night, you know, whether they're being abducted or not. And supposedly it's all a true story told by Dr. Abigail Tyler, the real Dr. Abigail Tyler, not the actress who was portraying her in the movie. But again, it just, that movie, despite whether it was actually real or not, it felt more real. And it seemed to show you more of what people who had been abducted actually went through, as opposed to Disclosure Day that kind of just sort of threw in a very whimsical story about these two people who were abducted as kids, not really explaining how they managed to gain access to the alien technology, except for I think they said it was like reverse engineered, maybe. At the same time, it felt like a secondary plot device as opposed to the fourth kind, which the main point of the movie was disclosing what had happened to these people. I have to mention this also. The animals in Disclosure Day were painfully CGI. I mean, just painfully CGI. And look, I get it. They were supposed to be wild animals, and you can't really train a wild animal to do what you want. Especially in a movie setting, there's just a lot of different variables. They might not do everything exactly right. But every time we encountered an animal in Disclosure Day, it took me right out of the movie. I was just very aware I was watching CGI. And you know, maybe that was the point of it. Maybe that was the point to kind of say, hey, there's like a lot of fakery in like these alien videos, or maybe in trying to cover him up, you know? It was very hard to tell where Spielberg was kind of leaning with that whole premise. And again, in the fourth kind, when they showed an animal, it was a real animal, and it was very, very creepy, especially the idea that these aliens were putting the image of owls in people's minds as to sort of cover up what they actually looked like. Because actually, a barn owl kind of, if you kind of squint and focus your eyes a little bit, barn owl kind of does look a little bit like a gray. But anyway, all that to say, I felt like the movie really kind of, it led with the idea that it was going to disclose things, and while it kind of sort of did at the end of the movie, it was all very, it was very kind of formulaic almost. It was very like, you know, showing very quick snaps and clips of UFOs that were, I believe, also CGI'd. Now, I don't know if maybe like the footage was based on real footage. They don't say. They don't ever mention that. They don't say that this is like based on true events, real footage, anything like that. I don't know if Spielberg has ever seen any like real footage of aliens. I don't know if I have. So it's really hard to judge that. But having it thrown in right at the end of the movie, having just like scenes of like these clips of UFOs and different things, and people just like looking at their phones and things at these clips, it felt extremely anticlimactic. It felt like we went through the whole mess of this movie, you know, just to get to this point, and I was really kind of let down in this fact that it didn't really live up to expectations. It didn't really show anything till the very end, and it kind of ended with the premise like, hey, you know, this will be good for humanity. Aliens, they're not out to get us. They're benevolent. They're good. They want to like work with us and work together with us. And it kind of had the opposing side of, hey, humans are kind of, you know, mean, and this shadow organization has been doing terrible things to these aliens, which, look, maybe that is true. That might happen should aliens ever try to visit here. I just think if you have all that technology, though, and you have all that intelligence, well, for starters, how do you end up like crashing so many times on Earth? Like, what is the deal with that? How do you repeatedly just crash again and again into the planet? And furthermore, like, how do you get yourself captured by humans and subjected to terrible things, you know, being as you are so intelligent? Like I said, it was a decent movie if you kind of went in having not seen the trailers or coming with this idea that there might be actual disclosure in this movie, that maybe Spielberg is going to let some real footage slip. Personally, I was a little bit let down. Again, like I said, a movie like The Fourth Kind, I felt like had way more disclosure in it, probably had way less budget too. And, you know, that movie, The Fourth Kind, was on the premise that it was real. Well, this movie was just kind of a clever story. Now, maybe there really is alien technology that allows you to do what they were doing in this movie. Maybe not, you know? I mean, there's really no way of knowing. Like I said, it really hung on the idea that, like, these shadow organizations are keeping things from people, and had the trailers been more about that rather than showing you like the aliens and stuff like that, I felt like that could have, you know, it might have changed expectations and it would have been seen as a really great movie. But anyway, those are just my random thoughts and opinions on the movie itself. I do have actually another movie review coming out very soon. This one's going to be way more in depth with like my personal fan theories and just kind of interesting little tidbits and things like that, footage from the movie and all that. But anyway, please stay tuned for that and let me know in the comments, did you watch Disclosure Day? Did you enjoy the movie? Did you feel like me it was kind of lacking in actual disclosure, or like even just more aliens and UFOs in general? Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.